Okay.
All right, we're ready to go. Okay. All right. Welcome everybody to our service today. There's no newbies, so I feel good about that. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Pottstown. My name is Monica Buckley and this is Diane. We will be leading today's sermon, and today we would, music today is going to be played by Kay Price, technology by Rick Dusky, and we're going to have a book read by Brittany. And so we want to welcome you to all of you joining us in the sanctuary today. Welcome to all of you who will be joining us online, and welcome to all of you who are joining us in the future via YouTube. We hope that your spirit, heart, and mind are with us this morning as we explore the ways that love shapes our hearts. For over 50 years, the UUFP has been a liberal religious voice for the Pottstown area. We come together this Sunday morning and every Sunday morning, not because we share a creed, but because we share a promise. We promise to support one another on our spiritual journeys. Our services are very different every week, but the love and kindness of this community is always the same. So whoever you are, whatever your size, your sex, your age, your race, your gender, your social status, or whoever you love, we are so glad to have you with us today. So now we'll have a moment for announcements. You guys can use this mic too. There we go.
Can you hear me? Okay, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Irene and I are focusing on a protest this Thursday, May 1st. It's in Pottstown. It's part of the Mobilize that we did for April 5th. So anybody's interested, talk to me, and I might just be sending out the link by email tonight to anybody interested. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Linda. For most of you know, we do not have a minister in this fellowship. And there has been a desire expressed that people want more and more information on what does it mean to be a Unitarian Universalist. So we started last fall, the first Sundays, which was being UU, and each first Sunday of the month, we took one of the shared values. And we did it more where a person didn't stand out there and tell you what it means to be UU, but we shared our own experiences and we learned from each other. The feedback from that has been incredibly positive. So we are going to continue being UU as the first Sunday of every month as we go forward. With that said, I'm looking for volunteers who would like to facilitate those discussions. Having led both true sermons and leading those discussions, these are actually easier because you really are just allowing everybody else to share and to talk. So please, if you think you would like to do that, please contact me and we'll get you set up and scheduled. So thank you.
Good morning, I'm Valerie, and I would like to just quickly announce that we have a new nursery attendant. Her name is Becky Piper. She's starting today, and she's here with her 5-year-old son Landon, who's going to try out the Empress class. So yeah, fantastic news. We now have a fully staffed party.
Good morning, I'm Sam. Just a couple of quick announcements. Tomorrow we have our first mowing done, which is going to be wonderful. They'll come. Right now we have them scheduled for every other week. If we don't need them, we just let them know and they don't come and mow. So I'm kind of happy about that, and I'm sure Doug is too. The second announcement is Senatorial Water came out Friday and did a follow-up visit and tested our water. I was pleasantly surprised. There is 0 iron in the water. There is zero copper. The pH was a little high, but the man that came out who does this study says, so the system's only been operating for about a month, so that will stabilize out. They will come out yearly and check everything, and I got what little additives we need for the water. They have their own proprietary chemical mix for the water softener, pH balance, all that stuff. So But if it needs to be filled, I know where to get, I know where to get it. And vaguely remember how to put it in. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this now. I'm on vacation starting May the 3rd and I come back on the 18th. I sent to the board a list of things that I do around here. Some people may think it's overkill, but you know, since we've had issues in the past of doors being left unlocked and stove being left on, when I'm here, I just check everything. I'll actually send a little addendum because I forgot about a couple of things that I do that's kind of important, but you know, it's up to the board and whoever to decide what they want to do with it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
I am John. We decided to install more obstacles outside for the mowing, so we got some native trees and bushes. 4 of them, I brought them from Southampton, which is part of Philly, but Judy has. I'm honored to have your help. Replacing them, they require different moisture and sun content, so. Arrowwood, black gum tree, swamp white oak, and red. Most of your will be spotted red colors.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm Diane Awenydd-Evans, and I'm the High Priestess of Moonfire, which is a Wiccan Coven based here in Pottstown. This Saturday, the 3rd, we will be having our Beltane ritual, at which we will be dancing around the maypole. We would really love all of you to show up. You can bring guests, you can come dressed in your festive best and ready to dance the maypole. And gather is at 2:30. The ritual will start at 3. And please don't hesitate to come if you have any interest at all. We would love to have you too.
Where's it at?
It's here.
Oh, okay.
If it's not raining, we'll be dancing the maypole out in the yard, behind the church. And if it is raining, we will be doing it in here in the sanctuary. We hope to see you there. Again, gathers at 2:30 and ritual starts at 3. Just come dressed in your May finest. So thank you very much.
I have one last announcement. I won't be there on May 3rd, only because Bernie Sanders is going to be in Bethlehem at the Lehigh University. The doors open at 10:30. It starts at 1. So if anyone wants to carpool with me, I have a big van, so let me know. I'm going to be there. So sorry, Diane. Okay, we'll catch you next time. Okay, so now we're going to do our chalice lighting. Somebody want to light our chalice for us? Okay. Thank you. Okay. The words today for our chalice lighting are by Mark Cawsey. We light this chalice, spark of the original fire of creation, to remind us that we all on this planet, the furred, the feathered, the finned, and the scaled, along with the featherless bipeds, we are all made of the same star stuff and all share a common destiny. We all share the same hopes of a life free from harm and suffering, and the same aspirations of happiness, love, and flourishing, being able to express our own unique natures and capacities as best we may. We are just that, many diverse perspectives from which the whole is seen and experienced. We are inextricably intertwined, interconnected, and interdependent, and it is good. Blessed be. Our opening words today. So we gather here today with love and compassion to give thanks to all the furred and hoofed, 2-legged, 4-legged, many-legged, fanged and clawed, gentle and fierce, wild and tame. This ceremony acknowledges that our lives are made fuller and richer by all the creatures that inhabit the earth, not just those that we live with us in our homes. Throughout history, people have held special blessings for their livestock and pets. We even see animal blessings within the Catholic tradition from St. Francis of Assisi. However, many Unitarian Universalist congregations have adopted this practice and have made it a uniquely UU type of blessing. Our second principle, which states that we are all part of an interconnected web of existence, is the underlying motivation for many of these services. Before we begin, let me expand your understanding of the word blessing. A blessing is a wish or of gratitude or happiness towards a person or animal or thing. It is for this purpose that we come together today to acknowledge how our lives have been blessed by our animal friends and to express our happiness and gratitude that they make this so. Our first hymn today, I apologize, I didn't type the words up, so you have to use your book, is hymn number 175, We Celebrate the Web of Life, and it's in your gray hymn. Now we're going to do a story about ages and race. I'll and read it. This story is called Stretchy McHandsome by Judy Schnatchner, I think is how you say her name. And I really, really love this book. Nicole and I read it at least twice a week, so it's fun.
All right, stretching McHandsome. The McHandsome clan was lively and large. They lived in a box with no one in charge. There was Fergus, McDougal, Benny and Roy, Rue, Jamie, Callie, and Joy. And then there was Stretchy, the butterscotch boy. Now Stretchy was different in more ways than one. He was stretchy and handsome, a soft bundle of fun. He was Tom of the Tumble Club, Lord of the Fleas, Cuckoo of Catnip, and Hugger of Trees. One eye was blue and the other was green, and around his dear neck hung a stinky sardine. But it wasn't always easy to be the baby of the brood. Of rough, tough, feral puffs, cantankerous and rude. There were many disagreements over food and where to sleep, and Stretchy always landed at the bottom of the heap. So was it any wonder that Stretchy hatched a plan to take a small vacation from the wild McHandsome clan? His brothers and sisters all agreed he should go and gave him a good licking from his head to his toe. Then after a tasty breakfast of fishy bones and rocks, our butterscotch boy sprang out of the family box. The first thing he did, which to some could be frightening, was dash down the street like butterscotch lightning. He jumped into a fountain and splashed round and round, scratched 200 stretchy marks all over the town. The freewheeling kitty made a stop at the zoo for an ear-splitting roar from a cousin or two, but the tigers thought Stretchy smelled just like dessert, so the butterscotch boy hid under a skirt. Until, that is, he spotted a mouse, which he chased down a path and into a house, where a hungry old woman, most pleased with her guest, attempted to eat the sardine on his chest. Stretchy escaped with a tail all akimbo to soak up the sun in an old bookshop window. On the sidewalk outside, all squeezed in betweeny, stood a lass named McBride with a real sweet human beanie. She had unusual looks, wore the ears of a kitten, and all around her neck, her wee neck, hung a wild woolly mitten. When Beanie saw Stretchy, it was love at first sight. She raced into the store and squeezed the cat tight. She ruffled his whiskers and butterscotch fur. He replied with a nip, a lick, and a purr. In a matter of minutes, the pair were both smitten. They traded two things, his sardine for her mitten. And then what came next was so utterly fetching. Without breathing a word, they both began stretching. At the very same time, back at the box, McDougal found Stretchy's collection of rocks. It made them all wonder where Stretchy was at, because it's scary out there for a wandering cat. Then every McHandsome handsomely hissed as they set off in search of the brother they missed. Fergus found a tiny poop, Callie met the cousins, Benny spied a stretchy mark, and Rue discovered dozens. McDougal met a tired mouse, Janie made a wish, when Roy and Joy picked up the scent of a very stinky fish. A tiny bit later, a girl and a cat were riding a seesaw and having a chat. While 2 streets away, 8 noses were seen, sniffing the air of for a stinky sardine. By late afternoon, the girl and her kitten had fallen asleep with a fish and a mitten, but when they woke up from taking their nap, Beanie McBride had 9 cats on her lap. There was Fergus, McDougal, Vinny, and Roy, Rue, Jamie, Callie, and Joy, and don't forget Stretchy, the butterscotch boy. Now the McHanson clan was still lively and large when they all took a vote to put Beanie in charge. So the brothers and sisters did something quite hard. They lugged their old box into Beanie's backyard. Now here's the kicker, so don't flip your lids, because Beanie McBride was just one of 9 kids. There was Jordy, Tiny, Coco and Earl, Quentin, Benny, Pickles, and Pearl. Don't forget Beanie, Stretchy's wild woolly girl. Depends.
I love them, so cute. So next we're gonna do the meditation, and this is gonna be in remembrance of any animals that have been in our lives that are not with us anymore. Diane's gonna light our candle. So this is a special time in our service where we can remember animals that are no longer with us. We will light a candle in their honor and have a moment of silence. Bit back towards you a little bit. There you go. They will not go quietly. They will not go quietly, the pets who've shared our lives. In subtle ways, they let us know their spirit still survives. Old habits still can make us think we hear them at the door, or step back when we drop a tasty morsel on the floor. Our feet still go around the place the food dish used to be, and sometimes coming home at night, we miss them terribly. Wow. And although time may bring new friends and a new food dish to fill, that one place in our hearts belongs to them and always will. Now is the time for our offering. We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure that the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than could have been done alone. An offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation, and may we give in love and so the next little bit is a kind of like call and response kind of thing. On the slides, you'll see in blue what you guys are supposed to say back. And this was written by Karen Johnston, and it was adapted by me. But it's called Animal Companionship Responsive Blessing. And I found it on the UUA website, but Rick, if you could make the slides big so people can read it, that would be great. Oh, next slide. Okay, cool. Okay, ours is a world alive and allowed with the presence of creatures and critters. Animals abound, interwoven in our human lives and wholly interdependent. This is the interdependent web of all existence of which we are all a part. Some of us have known animals who have saved our very lives. Sometimes this is a metaphor, sometimes it is a literal fact. For so many of us, we are better human animals because we have known animals as part of our story. Animals are not only cuddly and cute companions of solace and delight, animals are deeply wild, with the capacity to defend and to kill, even the ones we have pronounced tamed. Let us always show forms of proper respect for this wild way. There is the painful reality that some animals suffer needlessly at our hands. There are animals who encounter human cruelty, left hungry or maltreated, used for mean-spirited profit, habitat stolen and built upon without regard for our shared mutual existence. Let us do what we can to be able to give thanks for animals without hypocrisy or heartless dominance. There are animals in our daily lives whose labor makes our own lives easier, safer, and more accessible. Animals who lend us their fur, hair, feathers, fleece, milk, or eggs, so that we might be sustained without their loss of life. Animals whom we raise or hunt, whose lives are sacrificed so that some of us can eat or cover our bodies. Animals whom we use in biomedical research so that we may better understand diseases and develop life-saving treatments. May we always show compassion and gratitude and strive to tread more lightly on the earth, taking only what we must and no more. Okay, and then we're all going to say this last part. We bless all animals. We bless those we know and love. We bless those unknown to us who have benefited our lives. We bless even the ones that can harm us, affirming with humility their place in the interdependent web. We affirm the impulse for humans to live in right relation with all animals on this earth. We honor our guest presence as part of the animal family.
So this is the part where you guys have to get out of your seats. And come up here, we're gonna form a circle. Holding hands is acceptable, but not absolutely necessary. Like a seat. You may take one. If you would like to have something to hold to bless. All right, we're gonna have to stretch out.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with one of those, one of the groups of, okay, here we go, all right. So the point is, we are going to name the animals that are in our lives and that we wish to bless. So each one of us in turn, if you don't want to, you can pass, that's fine. But each one of us in turn will name an animal that we give thanks for, at least one. And then we're gonna sing a chant. I'm gonna sing it through once. It is really easy. After I've sung it through once, y'all are gonna join me. We're gonna sing it at least 2 or 3 times. Okay? Okay. So
Those are sunflower seeds. So, yeah, basically you're gonna put your energy into the seed, and then if you want to plant it, you can plant it at home and watch it grow, so.
So I'm going to start.
It could be anything, yeah,
I'm going to start with
and for any reason.
my kuka, who is no longer with me, and my nugget, who is.
Cody and Buckley.
We have a lot of animals, but Winnie is our puppy, and then building a duck house today for a little duck. So hope the ducks survive.
Yeah, our ducks, our chickens, water fountain, Trudy, our goose.
And the bees that we bring.
We have 2 cats, one's a Buckley, which is the Hawaiian word for cat, and Mr. Darcy,
Those were traditional.
who's loved by all.
I got so many animals, I can't remember. It's Matthew, it's Bucky, Judy, Shelby. I'm gonna try to remember what it is, I can't remember. Rosie, Martian, Sorrow, Petunia, Pancake, Teddy. I like it.
We unfortunately cannot have animals because of a multitude of allergies in the household and asthma, but, my mother-in-law has 7 cats, so I'm one of them. So, they're loving being without, but anyway, I'll pick one that holds a special meaning for us, because we tried this cat in our home and unfortunately did not work out. But now she lives a good life, and my mother-in-law, so Diane.
So I understand it was pets that have passed, but anyway, that's what I'm thinking of, is Ralph and Dusty. Dog and cat.
Wait, hold on, John, do you want to go? Oh, okay. Okay.
Cat that almost passed, Lady.
I am currently owned by 3 cats. Molly, Duncan, and Fiona. But I have to remember the only cat that was picked in, who was right
I have Lucy and Teddy for dogs, and Fifi and Penny for 2 cats, and a fond remembrance of my Buster boy, who I lost right before I moved here.
Susie and Skipper, 2 dogs that we had who are gone now. But I also want to say something about the fox. I don't know who's in her name, that comes by my house and who I followed his or her tracks in the snow to see where he or she could possibly survive through the winter. And that was seeing how smart that animal was to build that home that would enable her to survive.
Celeste and Soleil are 2 parakeets. Angelo, one of my mom's dogs that Chloe was very close with, passed earlier this year. And all of the rabbits and finches and cardinals that live in our backyard give us so much joy.
Squeaky, my marmalade tabby that I had for 16 years, the longest living pet that I had owned. And it started out, like happens in a lot of families, being my child's pet. And then when the child went off to college, it became my pet. So, but I have a lot of fond memories of coming home with Squeaky waiting for me at the door, and as soon as I would pet that cat, all of my frustrations would just melt away and I would relax. So he was very therapeutic in that way.
Sonny, Simon, the Dutch cats that I had throughout the years. Currently keeping my daughter's dog safe, who just loves to put to death.
The Pee Wee and Hershey cat and dog that we had while we were raising our children. And yeah, they actually became Beckley's pets. After not too long, in terms of who took care of them. But then there's
Fluffernutter, the grumpy cat face with a heart of gold, and Bun Bun and Oreo, who produce more poop than you could ever possibly imagine. They're rabbits though, so it makes really good fertilizer, and they're actually very sweet. And Bluey and Greenie, the parakeets, who have trained me quite well to do whatever they ask me. And Nugget, who was the best dog who ever lived.
Ace, my puppy brother from when I was growing up, I loved him dearly. My cat Bilbo, who we lost last year, and then my dog Dipper, and our cats Sassy, Knox, and Lewis.
We give thanks for these animals who have touched our lives and for all the animals in the world that make this earth a full, healthy, and what's the word I'm looking for? Abundant place to live. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. And that's all. Fur and feathers and scales and skin, different without but the same within. Many a body but one of soul. By all creatures are the gods made whole. Fur and feathers and scales and skin, different without but the same within. Many a body but one of soul. By all creatures are the gods made whole. Fur and feathers and scales and skin, different without but the same within. Many a body but one of soul. By all creatures are the gods made whole. We give thanks. May they be blessed. Yeah, you can all sit down. And if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, thank you for indulging my taking heart.
That comes to mind into your heart. Okay, Vince.
Testing. I'll just start by saying, I was telling everybody, I saw a bobcat in my backyard. Yeah, last week when I was out mowing, and really got a good look. It must have been a female. They say if you see them, you're often going to see them in April or May because they're out finding food for their young. And it was really inspiring to see her, and we had a moment.
I have a quick Whitey story. About a year ago, he went missing for, I guess, a day and a half, 2 days, and here he was in the garage that I had closed the door and I didn't know he was in there.
So a couple of days ago, my husband and I were out walking our dog, Nash, at about 5:30 in the morning. That's when we could both be together. And we were walking along, and out in the distance, in my headlamp, I see that there is a distinct white stripe walking down the road towards us. And our dog, who's ahead, is going, oh, look at that, it's a cat, it smells great. We turned around.
I've talked to, some people about this, and me and Monica have talked about this, but I grew up like in an outdoorsy family. And I love animals, and then people always find it like counterintuitive that we hunt so much. But I do have like such an appreciation for the animals that we harvest and like the clean meat it gives for my family. I have a brother in Montana who tries to like only eat the meat that he harvests and catches a ton of trout and stuff to feed his family. And I think that is so awesome. And I really, really do appreciate the animals. I put a ton of time in planting things for the deer, which is why we should put a cage around the red osier wherever that got planted, the deer are gonna get after that. But I just really see it as like next level of connection to, I don't take it for granted. I really appreciate it. Like part of me, my child heart feels bad every time. But then I also know like nothing's going to waste. It didn't grow up on some factory farm, you know, it's like, just really deep connection for me.
I want to talk really quickly about spirit animals, because well, I have cats, I have 3, and I love them dearly, and they are absolutely, I would not live without them. I won't have a home. I'm missing a home without a cat, it's just fine. But then there are the animals in the wild that we are, that we have a resonance with, right? One of my friends, my partner's mother loves elephants. And then, of course, you know, Ganesha is the Indian Hindu god who's in the form of an elephant. He's god about removing obstacles. And then there's another friend of mine, they are very attuned to owls. So when you think about your relationship with animals, don't just think about the ones that you have a physical relationship with. Think about the ones that speak to you and that whose nature you lean towards and feel all to.
Like Mary in Wales.
Yes, yes, exactly. Does anybody else have anything in the story they want to share? Then, there we go. Thank you. You don't think it's safe, I am Judy. We grew up with, we always had cats or dogs or whatever. But there can't have been another family that had to put up with a daughter like me because when I was a young teenager, I thought that the best possible Father's Day gift that my dad could ever get was a mouse that I saw for sale. So I bought the mouse, of course, it's still in the box, don't change or anything. So he goes out and he buys the cage and the wheel and everything. Well, 2 days later, we have 13 mice. So all those mice, when they got, went into the woods. I also, one time, I was in the old Woolworths in Westchester, and they have those beautiful colored chicks. And you know, I'm in 6th grade or whatever, you don't think of those things. I bought my brother, sister, and me 3 chicks. Thinking, oh, it'll be great to have eggs. Not realizing, as my father knew immediately, that they were all roosters. So that they grew up, and we had 5 white leghorns cackling every morning at 4. So he traded them. We traded them and then bought 3 Rhode Island red hens, which, 2 of them gave us eggs for quite a few years. But the stuff I did, my parents deserve a special place in heaven. But and I've had a myriad of cats, and I like Scottish names, so my cats are always Scottish. The reason why Angus chokes me up so much is I had lost a cat. I had a feral cat, and actually she became tame enough to sit next to me, to be in the house, everything. And she was 20 when she died, so she was 20, it was amazing. And I wanted another cat like her. She had longer gray hair. And I found one on the SPCA that website. And I went down to see this cat. I made an appointment, and it's at the zoo. It's an association, I think they've stopped in Devereaux. And the kids that are better behaved and able to were allowed to go in and take care. They're just for cats there. So I had this my eye. I didn't want a kitten. I had my eye on this beautiful long-haired gray cat, almost like gray stick. And I sit in the middle of the floor because they let the cats wander. They're the friendly cats. And the scrawny gray kitten comes up. He's all ears and he's got an upper respiratory infection. Wanders over to me and sits in my lap and starts to purr. And I pet him. And I put him back and I said, thanks very much, but you're not who I'm looking for. So I sat down, I finally spy the cow I want. I pick her up. She tolerates me for about 5 seconds, jumps out and goes to the far end of the room. So I'm still looking at this cat, and the scrawny kitten comes back and settles himself. I'm sitting in cross-legged in my lap and purrs, and I picked him up and I pet him and I said, that's no, I don't want any kittens. Well, it happened a 3rd time. And I looked up at the lady there and I said, I guess I've been adopted. And that's how I got mine. Oh, so.
I just want to say first, I'm really impressed with Judy's parents. And I just want to know if anybody saw the story about the Anatolian Pyrenees dog that say that there was a little boy who had wandered away. Was it in the desert? It was in New Mexico. And he was gone. This little 2-year-old boy was gone overnight, and they had all, helicopters and stuff like that. But this Anatolian Pyrenees, what his job was to, wander the periphery of this ranch he lived on at night and keep coyotes at bay. So he apparently found this little boy and brought him back, led him back to the ranch, and that's how the little boy was found and recovered. And just, one of the jobs that dogs do that really serves, us well, and we're lucky to have.
Yeah, I love dogs. I'm gonna talk a little bit about a controversial topic, and I feel like I'm outing myself, but I work in pharma and we use research animals. And it's a really hard thing to it's a controversial topic, but, when my first job out of college, I worked at a quarantine station and I was able to work with primates. And, some of the primates went to zoos, some of the primates went to research, but I was their caretaker and I loved it. I was a behavioralist. I did all sorts of fun things with them. As I went on in my career, I worked for a company, and I was in client services, but, we sold monkeys to a university, and one of those universities did the treatment, for glioblastoma cancer, which is this really horrible brain cancer. And one of my very best friends had that cancer, and she was on the study that was also with those monkeys. And I know in my heart that like I had a small part in that because of the company that I worked with supplied those animals to them. And I'm so grateful. And I can tell you as an animal caretaker in research, those animals are cared for in the most amazing way. And there are so many rules and regulations, and the people that care for them love them immensely. Every time they lost an animal, they would cry. Like it's intense. And I know that it's very controversial. And luckily, there's new things coming out now where you don't have to use animals as much. And that's the whole goal, is to reduce the usage. But I just wanted to put that out there and say, no, I greatly respect those animals that we use: mice, pigs, canines, guinea pigs, rats, monkeys, all of those things, chickens, all of the animals that we use to help us all live here and be here today. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. We're gonna do joys and concerns. I'd like to do that. That'd be great. And we can say this together. We extinguish our chalice flame, but not the light of wisdom, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These bear we in our hearts and in our hands until we are together again. Go your own way, seeking peace, sharing love, and giving comfort as you go, knowing we are all connected and we are all one. Amen. Shalom. Namaste. Blessed be, and go in peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Join us for coffee. This is the best. That's one of the positions. So,